since we're leaving Dubrovnik today, we don't have a whole lot planned. So we kind of have a little bit of free time before we're going. And we thought we'd maybe do a Q&A of some of our moments of the trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, to reflect a little bit. We're Karin and Jeremy, an average couple with average jobs and limited vacation time. When we take trips, we have 1 or 2 weeks, 3 if we're lucky. And we want to see and do as much as possible when we travel. Join us as we maximize our vacation time on Mapping It. So first off, what was your favorite meal of the trip?
I think the platter at Tima Irma.
There's a hidden treasure trove of chivati down here.
Just building a little sandwich here.
Let's see what's in it.
That's on that soft cheese, the onion.
Oh yeah?
And beef patty of some sort.
It looks incredible. It's good?
Yeah.
Yeah?
That's the way to go.
That's a good choice.
With all the meats and cheeses and that spreadable cheese, that was just amazing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I can't get enough of that spreadable cheese.
Yeah. How about you?
I think it would be the Pekka lunch we had on VAR.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that was incredible. The lamb was just roasted to perfection with like a crunchy skin on top, and then all of the vegetables. I couldn't get enough of those vegetables.
Yeah.
They were incredible, especially the potatoes. Oh my gosh, those were good.
What was your favorite activity or thing that we saw on the trip?
I can tell you immediately what my least favorite activity was. How about that?
Sure.
Oh, no, actually, I have multiple least favorite. I think my least favorite activity, probably the biking.
Same goes for me, I think.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So what do you think about the e-bikes?
Probably more work than they're worth.
Yeah, really.
There's no drifting on these things.
Also, to make matters worse, we just found out that it feels like 101 outside. I think other than that, things that I didn't enjoy about this trip, the number one thing probably was finding parking. Everywhere we go is like the worst.
Yeah. Somehow we found parking. Very crowded here.
It was so tight, I had to reverse uphill the entire length of the parking lot, and there was a car coming down the hill and a car going up the hill. So I was sandwiched between unparked cars. Parking's just a nightmare, basically.
Not my least favorite activity, but one of the parts of an activity that was the worst was the walk from the end of Vintgar Gorge back to the parking lot for Vintgar Gorge.
Oh my gosh. The one thing this path lacks, shade. I'd say 98% no shade, but the view's pretty good. What do you think?
The view was amazing, but it was so hot and there was no shade. And it was just like, I don't know, an hour and a half long walk or something like that.
It took a long time. We went into this knowing that we would have to do this hike, this extra hike. But all of the like vlogs and blogs and material that's out there was written prior to the pandemic, basically. And so back then, you could go down Vintgar Gorge, and then when you get to the end, you just turn around and go right back up. And because of the pandemic, they made it so it's a one-way route. You go down, and then when you get done,
you exit.
And you have to go all the way around.
Which is not a short track.
It's not short at all.
It's like going around the mountain, basically.
Yeah, you're basically going around a mountain. So it adds a lot of time to your day.
Yeah.
Like, it makes something that was supposed to take an hour, or maybe an hour and a half if you're very slow about it, take like multiple hours or half a day.
What was your favorite activity, though?
My favorite activity. Oh, is that the original question?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. My favorite activity. My favorite was probably the Platina boat ride on Lake Bled. The person rowing the boat.
Yeah.
He was pretty cool, very informative, very talkative, and we learned a lot. The views were incredible. Yeah. The water is so fresh. I'm kicking myself that we didn't go swimming. What's your favorite?
I think it's walking the city walls here in Dubrovnik. Just because of all the cool scenery from the walls and all the Game of Thrones scenes and all that stuff.
That was your number one thing you were looking forward to. So it lived up to it. That's awesome. I love it. What is your favorite city that we've been to?
I think I'd have to say like the Lake Bled area.
Okay.
Because There's so many like different activities you can do.
That's a good choice. I think my favorite is Split.
Sure.
There's plenty of day trips. You could go to Klis, you could go to Var, you could go to Brač, you could go island hopping.
Yeah.
There's tons of boat tours you could do, which we didn't, but that sounds lovely.
Yeah.
You can even do day trips to Mostar from Split. It's like the opportunities of like activities pretty high.
Yeah.
I'd say the food was some of the best that we had on the trip, and the prices are better than some other towns.
Yeah. Any changes you would make to the trip?
I think the biggest change that I'd make is probably making it a longer trip.
Yeah.
I think ideally every place would be a minimum of 2 nights, if not 3. 3, I feel like, really gives you the chance to breathe. And you could do that if you had 3 weeks.
Yeah.
If you only had 2 weeks or less, then I think you should really just limit the number of places you're going.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I'm still very happy with the trip and how it turned out. I wouldn't change it other than make it longer. I wouldn't change your itinerary at all.
Yeah.
I would just make the trip longer.
Same. And maybe a slightly different time of year because it's just hot. Yeah, the heat was the biggest hurdle to doing a ton of activities because sometimes you would just kind of like not have the energy to
Absolutely.
go out.
It just saps your energy so fast. Our time in Pula is consisting of finding one shady spot after another because it is so hot.
We're walking on the Riva next to the sea. And it's even hotter now, if you could believe it.
The one downside is there's very limited shade, which is why I'm clinging to the wall. And it's kind of like a lot of extra work just because of how hot it is here. Like, both of us are kind of sweating bullets. It's very hot, very humid right now. It's ridiculously hot today, and we didn't bring enough water because we've been guzzling it because it is so hot. It's a brutally hot day. 37 out right now. I feel like I maybe have the meat sweats, but it could also just be the regular sweats because we walked up a lot of stairs. It's very hot out and we're sitting outside, not in air conditioning.
And also I would say a little bit more swimming would have been nice.
That really would have been nice. Absolutely. Learn from our mistakes.
Yep, we gotta head to the airport pretty soon.
Yeah.
Just gotta finish packing a little bit.
All right.
We'll be on our way.
You've sat on the Iron Throne.
Yep.
Are you now King of King's Landing?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, we've got our bags all packed and we're ready to go. We've got a very, very long uphill hike to get to the car.
Yep.
So
Won't have much breath.
no, we are going to be exhausted. Let's see how this goes. This is a horrible hill to walk with 50 pounds of luggage, probably 30 pounds of backpack.
Yeah.
But it's super scenic, so at least that's a win. Heavy bags, large hill. We're almost there. Only took us about 35 minutes.
Yeah.
Now we have to pay for parking and get out of here. We made it back to our car and we're getting packed up and all ready to go. We learned one more unfortunate lesson along the way. If you're gonna park for longer than maybe, I think 12 hours.
Probably 12 hours.
If you're gonna park for longer than 12 hours, get the daily ticket.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're gonna
pay them an insane amount.
Yeah, so we learned the hard way. We had daily tickets for the other days we were here and we just didn't consider that it would add up so much.
Yep.
So that's our fault.
Yes.
Learn from our mistake.
We're almost to the airport, but we found a viewpoint just before we got there.
Yeah, it's a great way to end our time in Croatia. What are you doing?
Rubbing his nose.
Do you know why?
Nope.
This is the realities of the Stradun in the early morning. Tons of cars. We found another Game of Thrones filming location.